Hey guys, how's it going? I'm going to redo a video from one of my challenges because the recording didn't keep, and so I need to redo it. So I thought I'd just do it live in case anyone needs a review on food and mindset and triggers and subconscious beliefs around food. So this was from a challenge I did a while back, and I'm just going to kind of riff on the theme here a little bit again tonight. So if you've ever had any thoughts around foods that are repeated often or reoccurring and you feel like they might be holding you back from achieving your results, this will be a good topic for you tonight. So a couple things I'm going to talk about are how to handle like the emotions that come up when you're in a situation, when you're eating, when you're around food. This could be going to a restaurant, this could be going to a dinner, this could be going to an event, this could be eating every single day. So just what emotions do you have when you're eating? What thoughts are coming up about food? And what do you need to do so that you can stay on plan to get the results and kind of health that you want? And also, we're going to talk about what your thoughts and your energy around food actually have on your physical body and what you can do to use this to your advantage. And then, food rules you might be living by without really knowing it or noticing it, and how to unlink the ones that aren't serving you. And then the one mindset shift that you need to make before you eat anything, whether you think it's a trigger or not, to get your body and your emotions and your head in the right place. Okay, so let's get started. What I'm going to start out with is just a couple different situations that you may have experienced. Perhaps these things happened to you as a child and they're replaying in your adult life when you're around food and eating. So think about these, and if none of them identify with you exactly, then use them to, just become aware of what is true for you. And it might trigger something in you that you realize then about the way that you do things or the way that you're eating or why you're doing those things. Okay? So here's the first one. See if you're any of these things or if any of these things resonate with you at all. When you're eating, you have a feeling of there's not enough. So what this may look like in real life, if you believe that there's a scarcity mindset around food, or the other thing is that everything's connected, so if you believe it about food, you're probably going to believe it about other things in life. So if you believe there's not enough, this could have come from a childhood situation when you had to fight your brothers and sisters to get the food that you wanted, or there wouldn't be enough for you, or you wanted more than there was, or maybe you grew up in an environment where you didn't have access to food very readily. What this could look like now playing out in your life would be you don't want to share. You don't want to share your food. That's mine. I'm keeping that for me. And I've seen this in myself when I've made dinners before and my husband will eat pretty fast, and then he'll go to my plate and he'll try to eat all my vegetables or my stuff, and I'm like, hey, that's mine, you had yours and this is mine, and I don't want to share. So this is a belief that there isn't enough. Now there's probably more sitting on top of the stove top right over 10 feet away, but whatever is right in front of me, I would sometimes feel like, no, that's mine, I don't want to share. So that would be a belief that you need to save everything up and keep it for yourself. Another one could be that you're waiting till later. You're saving it, almost hoarding it. If you've ever gotten a very delicious food or something you really love to eat and enjoy, and then you save it. And you hide it away in the cupboard so no one else finds it, but you want to have it just for yourself. This could also play out with clothes and fashion. If you buy clothes and then you never wear them, you leave the tags on, you hang them in your closet, and they're just sitting there, and you're yeah, I'm gonna use that someday, but you actually never get really around to it. It's saving it for later. And this one and the first one, both, they kind of come under the theme of there's there's only this much and there's not going to be more. So see if any of those things resonate with you. Another one is, have you ever seen or known people, or maybe this is you, where you eat really well all day or you hardly eat all day, and then at night you're starving, and so you're like eating all the calories and all the food and all the nutrients at once, and it's like you're waiting till later. You're not giving yourself what you need all through the day, and then you finally have a breaking point and you starve and you are like stuffing it in and those type of things. Hey, Jill. I'm always here when you're finishing with clients. Well, cool. I'm glad you're here. Good to see you again. What was I saying? Oh, and if you're doing those things, like where you're waiting and waiting to feed yourself, to give yourself nutrients, that could be a subconscious belief of, I'm not good enough. So you're not good enough to eat. You're not good enough to fuel your body. You're waiting for later, and then you'll give yourself, I don't know, probably not the best choices. What this also could mean is you don't eat all day long, and then when you do eat, it's probably not the good choices, and then that sabotages your results. It sabotages your plan. It sabotages where you really are saying that you want to go with your health and your body and your nutrition. So this could also play out as you do really well for 1 day, 2 day, 3, 4, 5 days a week or 2 weeks, and then you like completely fall off the wagon. And when you fall off the wagon, you're like off the wagon for a bit, and then you like get back on. So there's like cycles, but you're never consistent. You never find anything consistent that gets you ultimately to where you want to be, where this thing about food and mindset is not an issue, and you have like a peace about it, and you don't have to worry about it. Hey, Carol. Carol says yes. What does that mean, Carol? Tell me what that means. Yes. Okay, so that was the kind of not good enough theme. And then, this is a funny one, I think. Rule follower / rebel. So, are you someone that will, find a plan, and you could find a new one every day, right? If you wanted to, like, go Google a diet or a clean eating challenge or something, and there's going to be something out there. So you could say, I'm going to do this 100%, I'm going to follow the rules, and then you follow all those rules, and you do it for a while, and then you're over it, and then you're like, I'm done with this, and then you rebel against it. So then you start doing everything that's anti. I have a little bit of this in me where I do better with not having specific strict guidelines, but having like an outline, and then I get to choose and have some variety within that guideline. Because if someone tells me exactly what to do, then I want to rebel against it, and I don't want to do that. I want to have some freedom, some independence, and some choice. Everything I just heard you say, you do good on a plan, and once it's done, you lose all control. Okay, great. That's good. So so I'm guessing your plan is like short term. Tell me if that's true, Carol. So I can talk a little bit about this. If you're on a plan and it is, a short-term thing, then that's what it's meant to be. So if it's like a cleanse, like a 3-day cleanse, then you shouldn't expect to, stay on that for a long time. Or if it's a sugar detox, you shouldn't expect to stay on that for quite a long time. But your plan, I think, if you are ultimately wanting freedom, if you're ultimately wanting to just be able to eat and get the body you want, the health you want, and the results that you want, is not really a plan anymore, but it's just something you know how to do. What has worked? Cleanses, and then HCG. Those are both really restrictive. So I think what might be helpful is to first identify what you want in the long run. So, Carol, I want you to do this. Think about this, and think about what you want in the long run, and then I want you to, you can put it in here, and then I'll answer all these questions at the end after I get through a little bit more of these things. Oh, hold on, you guys. There's someone at my door. Okay. Sorry, you guys. That was random. So Carol was asking questions about like a plan and then falling off the plan. So I want you to all think about what is your end goal. Hey, Barb. How's it going? I want you to think about your end goal and then listen to the topics here, and then we'll answer all the questions, okay? So if you didn't hear the beginning of this video, then you can watch the replays. And I just kind of first started talking about some kind of subconscious beliefs around food and themes around food, and seeing if any of those things identify with you. All right, so the next thing is you might have created some kind of association in your mind between food and an emotion or a feeling. And that's really powerful because our feelings really dictate and drive a lot of what we do. So you may think that, if you go visit your family, then you're tying in like the food that they make or the food that they serve with that being comforting, or that being fun, or that being safe. Or you might associate, going out for dinner with friends or coworkers or something else as that being something that makes you feel good or happy or in a certain way. You might associate like having wine or cheese and crackers with fun and happiness, right? So if you have any of those things happening, then what's happening is your subconscious mind is telling you, I want to feel good, so when I see those foods, then those foods and drinks make me feel good, and so I'm going to, of course, choose those, even though they may not actually ultimately be getting you to where you want with your health. Does that make sense? Let me know if you have any questions on that right away. So what you have to do is kind of figure out first what those things are and be able to first be aware of them. So you need to be aware of like, oh, whenever I go here, I always default into this habit. So, for example, I know this has happened. It doesn't happen for me as much, but even for like my mom, I know she'll tell me like if she goes home to visit my grandma will always offer, like coffee and I don't know, cinnamon rolls, and she makes like amazing homemade cinnamon rolls. And so my mom will eat them with her because she doesn't want to make her feel bad, or she wants to fit in, or she wants to feel, like the little girl again that's like safe and being taken care of. So if there's any place where you go and you're getting triggered by the environment and the people there, the specific kinds of foods there, the way that it used to be, and it sort of like changes you from what you usually do and what you usually are to go back to a different way that maybe isn't on track with your health plan, or maybe it's just something that you wish you didn't do. And a lot of people have that going on. So think about those things. So you need to be aware, identify the situation, identify the trigger, food or environment. And then we need to change the association. So if you're saying like every time I go to my grandma's house, she makes homemade cookies and I love them and they make me feel happy and safe and comfortable and like I did as a child, that's fine. But you can also go back to grandma's house and spend time with her and engage with her and have a great conversation with her, and you don't have to eat the cookies. She won't stop loving you. She won't say get out of here and what's wrong with you. I've done this to my own grandma. It's kind of a joke now because ever since I started getting really into nutrition and health, I would go back to my grandma's with my family, and she'll be like, Jody, I made you this like chocolate cake, it's fat free. And I'm like, it's not fat free. She's joking. And I don't even like cake, but the thing is, like, it's just a joke. She knows that I love her so much, and she knows that my grandma's like to bake stuff, so that's fine, but I don't want to eat it. And I'm still allowed to visit. So it's just these little things where you can kind of, they're usually just triggers from like childhood. Like you're like, that's what I used to do, and I love that part of my life, or my time with this person or that person, or when we did this together. If you can figure some of this out, then you can change it and still be able to have the relationships, to have the situations, to go in those environments and have success, meaning that you choose what you want. And if you want to have your grandma's cinnamon rolls, then have them. That's fine. It's just if it is hurting you or holding you back, or if you do it and you really don't want to, then that's the different situation. Funny how that generation still thinks fat free is being healthy. Right, totally, Jill. Yeah, right. That's true. It's not about that. We know that. Okay, so you change the association, you create a new one, meaning, I love going to my grandma's house and spending time with her and having a cup of tea. Maybe you can introduce them to something that you love, and it doesn't need to be awkward at all. So you're kind of creating a new association and creating a new plan, making a new plan. So really what all of this is about is mindset shifts. So you have to change your focus point. I started a scope or a live stream the other day about manifesting weight loss, and you can do that. There's always, mindset is huge. So I'm going to just talk about a couple points here. So you have to make a mindset shift. So if you want to lose 10 pounds, let's just say, the first thing you need to do is stop focusing on, I need to lose 10 pounds, I want to lose 10 pounds, but I can't. I'm so mad at myself that I haven't lost these 10 pounds. It's been 12 years and I'm trying to lose the same 10 pounds over and over and over and over. That's never going to get you to lose 10 pounds because you're focusing on what you don't want. So this is huge and this is key, whether it's weight loss, whether it's a positive health outcome, whether it's vitality, whether it's better skin or anything. You have to only focus on what you want instead of what you don't want. So, because what happens is you basically attract and create more of whatever you focus on. So here again, pull in some awareness to what are you focusing on meal after meal and day after day. When you go to eat, are you focusing on, wow, this food is, full of nutrients and energy and fuel for me? Or are you focusing on, oh, I shouldn't be eating this, or I wish I was eating that? Or is there this drama going on between your actions and your thoughts about what you're doing and what you're eating? It all makes a difference, and you have to switch your mindset to only focus on where you're going. And this only happens really when you have totally decided that you're going to go and be a certain way and get a certain result no matter what. So, no matter how hard it is, no matter where you are, what you're doing, then you can still be the same, find the good and focus on the same thing in any situation. So I'm just reading my notes here. You get to eat the way that you want to eat no matter what. So the truth is, it's not hard to eat real food. It's not hard to eat real food. There's real food all around you. Everything you guys do is your decision day after day. You're choosing what you're eating for breakfast, snacks, lunch, dinner. No one's force feeding you. It's always a choice. And really where you are right now with what your body looks like right now, your health is right now is accumulation of all the choices you're making day after day after day. So if you're making choices that are good and whole foods already, then there might be something else going on that you need to identify, a food sensitivity or an intolerance or something like that. But if you're not, and you're falling back, you're not being able to commit to something long term, then that's different. So that's a belief, that's a mindset shift that needs to happen where you can commit to a plan or commit to doing something in a way that feels good for you. It always has to feel good. It always has to be for you and not for anyone else. And because then and only then will you actually do it and want to do it. Okay, so one of the things I talked about at the very beginning was of this video was this mindset shift that you have to make before you eat anything, whatever it is, wherever it is, whatever you're doing. So this goes back to the thoughts that everything in the world has a vibration. You have a vibration, food has a vibration. And we can see this when we look at like fresh, whole, pure foods versus a bag of Doritos, right? Those are man-made, processed. That's not food. But if you're looking at, beautiful, colorful foods, proteins and seeds and nuts and plant-based things and all of that, those things are real. And what that means is those things have a higher vibration. And of course, we want to have a higher vibration for ourselves. What that looks like emotionally is happiness, joy, peace, abundance. And with food, it's nutrient dense, it's full of life, it's full of vitality, it's full of good things that will do good things in you and for you. So when you're looking at food, if you look at it in a way of, I want to have a high vibration experience with food, it doesn't just mean that you have to eat vegetables. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I am saying is that before you eat, you have to be in that energy yourself where your vibration is high. So if you're going into a dinner, and it really doesn't matter, if you have a plate of organic salad on your plate with wild-caught salmon, or if you have a plate of macaroni, it's about how you feel in that situation when you come in to eat it. So this is why all different people eat different foods and have different body shapes. So, it's about your beliefs. It's about what you think is true and what that food is going to do in your body. So if you come into a dinner and you're like, I don't know what to eat, I think that's bad, I don't want to eat that, I want to eat it, but I feel guilty eating it, then that's going to influence the way that it is literally working in your body and for your cells. Versus if you come into a dinner, a meal, every time you're encountering food or a social environment or a situation, and you're saying to yourself, I love this food, I'm so excited to eat this food, I know that this is going to do good for me, good for my body, good for my cells, good for my energy, my health, my vitality, my wellness, my digestion. This is why we talk about blessing our food. And it helps to raise the vibration and what it does in us. And it is true that organic food has a natural higher vibration because it doesn't have anything done to it. So the body, physical body, doesn't have to work as hard on those things to make it work for you. So there's all these different pieces that come into play. But the most important thing is how you feel about what you're eating. So I come here in the middle because you guys know that I'm science-minded and I'm all about digestion. I know how the digestive system works. I believe in it, and I believe in being smart. So if you have stuff going on, if you have inflammation going on, then you need to figure out what is right for you to eat and what isn't. But that isn't to say that there isn't also work to be done on your thought process about it. So, why are you struggling with the digestive issues? And what are your thoughts about food? Because a lot of times when I work with clients, they're very tired of trying to figure this out because they've tried a lot of things. They have a symptom, they're getting chronic inflammation, and they don't know why. It can be defeating, right? And you're trying so hard and you're eating better than probably a lot of people even eat. And if you still feel sick from that, then it can be quite easy for you to start thinking in your head that you're just going to always be this way, or you've settled for being this way, or you don't think it's possible to figure out how to be full of energy, feeling good all the time with no worries. But I want to tell you that it is possible, and it's really just about figuring out for each individual what are those right foods and what is the right mindset about those foods. So I believe for every single person that you can figure out what will work for you and what will make you feel the best, and that anything is possible. I totally, totally believe that. And I just think it's very important to introduce that our thoughts influence our bodies, and our thoughts influence how our body receives food. Our thoughts influence the choices that we even go out and make about food. So it's very much all connected. So what I want you guys to do, here's your homework, is to go through 3 different situations of 3 different days. And instead of just writing down what you eat, and this is not about making a food log, okay? This is about food, energy, and thoughts, and mindset, and beliefs. I want you to go through a normal day, like the most typical boring blah day, not blah, but regular day. What do you usually do? Like the normal day when you're getting up at X time, eating breakfast here, then you go to work, or you go take your kids to school, or whatever it is, all the way through until you go to bed at night. And I don't want you to write down what you eat. What I want you to write down is your thoughts and your feelings about when you go into those situations. So, for example, when you wake up in the morning, do you jump up, get going, go into the kitchen, start making breakfast, and then you're, like, oh, great, should I have eggs, or should I have oatmeal, or should I have cereal, or should I have a smoothie? Or are you like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to eat. This is so confusing. I ate that yesterday. Should I have something new? Are smoothies bad? Are they too much sugar? Should I eat any grain at all? Like anything like that you're thinking, like, do you have any worries? Do you have any concerns? Do you have any questions? What's your energy like when you're going into every meal, every snack, lunch, dinner, all the way to bed? Also, notice, do you have patterns? Do you starve yourself all morning, or and then binge at lunch, and then don't allow yourself to eat dinner? Or do you go all the way through the day where you're just snacking and picking and not even paying attention to yourself, and then you binge at night? Or do you even eat clean, consistently, regularly, all through the day, but every night you have to have chocolate? What is it? Like, what is your pattern? I want you to figure out what your whole pattern is, and no judgment. Like, just be honest and write it down. What are you doing, and what are you thinking? So a regular day, usually a weekday. A weekend day, because those tend to be a little bit different. And then a day that might be out of the norm, but can be a trigger for us, especially when there's lots of things going on in different seasons of life or seasons of the year. So is it a day where you're going out to a dinner, you're going to a social event with a spouse, you're going to have to go to cocktails, or you're going to have to go to a catered event, or you're going to have to go to a wedding or a holiday party? Whatever it is, 3 things: a regular day of the week, a regular weekend day, and a special event day that is going to be for sure, related to food. So whatever those are, I want you to take all 3 days, track your feelings, your emotions, your thoughts, and your patterns, and write it down in a notebook. And just like we do a food journal, this is going to be really telling, because then it will help us to uncover and dig up kind of what maybe your subconscious beliefs are about food. And then that's when you can get even better about knowing what to do in those situations. So you have to do the homework in order to do the rest of it, right? And know to recognize the situation when you're being triggered, to take a step back from it when you're being triggered. And in that situation, you can do some breath, some breathing techniques. You can just step away. If you identify from your log that I just described that you get triggered by dinners out, you could excuse yourself and go to the restroom. Take a second, get a hold of your thoughts, and get yourself in the right mindset before you go into the normal pattern that you usually do. And then you can choose what you're going to do or what you're not going to do. But remember, whatever it is, it's okay, but it's your choice, and you have to be feeling good about it, because the last step of this is there is no guilt or regret allowed. So if you decide to go out to dinner and this usually triggers you to eat French fries, then you take a break, step back, say, I'm in this situation. I recognize my situation. I recognize this is usually a trigger for me. Then you decide for yourself, what do you want to do? And you feel good about it. So if you want to have the fries, you do. If you don't, then you don't. But either way, you don't waver, waffle, go back and forth, and wish you had done the opposite. Okay, so that was a whole bunch of different things. But this day of the plan is really, really about triggers that are coming from your head instead of just, oh, I see a, wine and cheese and crackers and that's what I want to eat. So if you guys have any questions, if you're watching the replay, please just comment and let me know. I want you to go through your days. If you want to do one and share what you've thought of or what came up for you, I would love to hear it. I think it would really help benefit a lot of people. So do that in this feed. Send me a message if you have any questions, and I will be back tomorrow. See you soon.